Welcome back to. In today's video, we're diving into the story of the Canada 1-cent coin from 1976, a small coin with a big history. Whether you're a coin collector, history lover, or just curious about old pennies, you're in for a treat. Let's discover its features, value, and whether it's worth more than just 1 cent today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more coin stories every week. Let's start with a quick background. The Canada 1-cent coin from 1976 is part of the famous Maple Leaf penny series, a design that had been used since 1937. It was issued by the Royal Canadian Mint, and it continued the traditional design introduced by G.E. Kruger Gray. 1976 is also an important year in Canadian history. It marked the Montreal Summer Olympics, though the event wasn't featured on the 1-cent coin itself. But this year remains a favorite for collectors due to its historical context. Now let's take a closer look at the design. Features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. You'll notice the Queen is wearing a tiara, and this portrait was used on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989. Shows the iconic 2 maple leaves on a twig, a proud symbol of Canada. The word Canada appears along the bottom, and the denomination 1 cent is placed above it, with the year 1976 split on either side of the stem. The coin is made of 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc, giving it that classic reddish-brown tone. How many were made in 1976? The Royal Canadian Mint produced a whopping 618,000 of these 1-cent coins. That's over 642 million. So yes, they were very common in circulation. These coins were used for everyday purchases across Canada, from candy to newspapers, and remained in circulation for decades before the 1-cent coin was officially withdrawn in 2013 because they were used so much. Most of these coins today show signs of wear, scratches, dull color, or slight bending. So, how much is a 1976 Canadian 1-cent coin worth today if your coin is in circulated condition, meaning it shows signs of everyday use? Its value is mostly sentimental or historical. Most of these coins are worth about. However, if you have a coin in excellent condition or uncirculated, MS 60 to MS 65 plus, it could fetch around $0.25 to $1.50 CD or possibly more at auction if it's flawless. And if your coin has errors, like off-center strikes, double dates, or missing features, it might be worth several dollars depending on rarity and demand. Here are a few quick tips for collectors. Keep your 1976 penny dry and clean. Avoid polishing it, as that can lower its value. Store it in a coin flip or holder to prevent further damage. Check for errors with a magnifying glass. You never know what rare variety you might be holding. The face value of this coin is 1 cent, but the metal content alone, especially when copper prices are high, can make it worth more than that. So there you have it, the full story of the Canada 1-cent coin from 1976. While it may not make you rich, it definitely holds a piece of Canada's heritage in your pocket. The Canadian 1-cent coin has a long and rich history, tracing back to the early years of the country's confederation. The 1976 1-cent coin is part of that legacy, and while it may seem like just another penny, it actually represents an important period in Canadian coinage and national identity. The very first Canadian 1-cent coins were minted in 1858, during the time when Canada was still a British colony. These early coins were larger and made of bronze. Over the years, the size, metal composition, and design evolved. By 1937, Canada had introduced the maple leaf design, which would become the most iconic and enduring image on the 1-cent coin. This design was created by George Edward Kruger Gray, a well-known artist who worked on many coins across the British Commonwealth. The 1976 Canadian cent features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse front of the coin. This portrait was introduced in 1965 and was designed by British sculptor Arnold Machin. In this image, the Queen is shown wearing a tiara, and it remained on Canadian coinage until 1989. The 1976 cent continued this tradition, maintaining the same portrait, alongside the inscription Elizabeth II de Regina, which means Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. On the reverse, back of the coin, you'll see the twin maple leaf twig design, which had become the standard for Canadian pennies since 1937. It's a proud symbol of Canada's natural beauty and national identity. The word Canada appears at the bottom, with 1 cent, and the year 1976 appearing above the design. The maple leaf imagery was deeply connected to Canadian patriotism and was one of the most recognizable images in circulation. The 1976 cent was made of 98% copper, with 0.5% tin and 1.5% zinc, a traditional bronze alloy. This gave the coin its characteristic reddish-brown color. It had a diameter of 19.05 mm and a weight of 3.24 grams. Copper pennies like this were still being struck in large numbers in the 1970s, long before Canada began reducing the use of copper in coinage in the 1990s due to cost. The year 1976 is significant in Canadian history for several reasons. It was the year of the Summer Olympics, held in Montreal, the first Olympics ever hosted in Canada. It was a time of rising national pride and increasing global visibility. Although the 1-cent coin didn't carry a special Olympic design, 1976 is still a memorable year for collectors due to the historical context. By the early 2000s, the cost of producing the 1-cent coin became higher than its face value. As a result, the Canadian government decided to stop minting the penny in 2012, and it was officially withdrawn from circulation in 2013. This made coins like the 1976 cent even more special, a relic from a time when a single penny still had buying power. To summarize, the 1976 Canada 1-cent coin is a classic copper coin with a beautiful maple leaf design, part of the long tradition of Canadian coinage featuring Queen Elizabeth II, a product of its time, with strong ties to the cultural pride of the 1970s. No longer minted today, making it a nostalgic piece of history for collectors and Canadians alike. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating little coin that's been part of Canada's everyday life for decades, the 1981 Canadian 1-cent coin, also known as the penny. If you've ever wondered about the value of these coins in circulation, their history, or whether they're worth keeping in your collection, this video is for you. Let's get started. The Canadian penny has been around since 1858, serving as the smallest denomination of Canadian currency. By 1981, the penny was well established, featuring the classic design of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the iconic maple leaf twig on the reverse. 1981 was part of a longer series of pennies that carried this design, produced by the Royal Canadian Mint. The composition was mainly copper-plated zinc, and the coin measured 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Now, when it comes to circulated 1981 pennies, these coins are extremely common. Millions were minted that year, so you're likely to find these coins just about anywhere, from your old coin jars to loose change in your wallet. And circulated condition, these pennies show typical wear and tear, scratches, discoloration, and loss of the original luster. But don't let that fool you. Even worn pennies hold some value, especially if you understand what collectors are looking for. So, what is the actual value of a circulated 1981 Canadian penny? Generally, these coins have a value very close to their face value. That is, about 1 cent, but if you're a collector or a coin enthusiast, you'll want to know how condition affects value. And good, condition, which means heavy wear but all major details still visible. The penny is worth about 1 to 2 cents, in fine, F, to very fine, VF, condition, where the details are sharper but still show some wear. Values might range from 2 to 5 cents. And in uncirculated, MS60 to MS65. Condition, basically coins that look almost brand new with full luster. Values can go up to $1 or a bit more. Show close-up shots of coins in various conditions to illustrate. Keep in mind, most 1981 pennies you'll find will be somewhere in the good to fine range because they've been in circulation for decades. Occasionally, some 1981 pennies might have minor mint errors or varieties, like double dies, off-centers, or die cracks, that can significantly increase their value. However, these are quite rare. Show images of some known Canadian penny errors. If you think you have a penny that looks unusual or different, it's worth getting it checked by a professional coin grader. It's important to remember that Canada officially phased out the penny in 2013, ending 155 years of circulation. While pennies are no longer being distributed by banks, they're still considered legal tender. Show footage of news headlines about the penny's discontinuation. This means that your 1981 pennies are part of a historical chapter that's now closed, which makes them interesting for collectors. Especially if you have coins in better condition or with unusual characteristics. If you want to start a penny collection or just preserve your coins better, here are some quick tips: store coins in acid-free holders or coin flips to prevent damage. Avoid cleaning your coins with harsh chemicals or abrasives. It can reduce their value. Keep them in a cool, dry place to prevent corrosion. So, there you have it. The 1981 Canadian 1-cent coin is common and mostly worth face value in circulated condition, but it's also a neat piece of Canadian history. If you find one in great shape, or maybe a rare error, it could be worth a little extra. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more coin content, and let me know in the comments if you have any special pennies or questions about Canadian coins. Until next time, keep those coins shiny and happy collecting.